America has always been a nation shaped by food. The meals we eat, the flavors we crave, the recipes passed from one generation to the next, they tell a story far deeper than what's on the plate. Long before supermarkets, fast food, or even colonial kitchens, Native American communities were already building a food culture, rich, resourceful, and deeply tied to the land. But over the centuries, many of these dishes were forgotten, hidden away in old traditions, or replaced by modern convenience. Today, we'll look back at 15 forgotten Native American foods that quietly shaped U.S. culture, some you may recognize in new forms, and others that might surprise you with how much of our diet they still influence. This is the World Tapestry. 1. The Three Sisters Stew. It wasn't just a meal, it was a survival system. Corn, beans, and squash weren't just grown together. They protected one another, nourished the soil, and made a perfectly balanced dish. Colonists quickly adopted it, but its deeper meaning was spiritual, harmony, and life itself. If the Three Sisters represented balance, our next dish was about survival in its rawest form. 2. Pemmican. A food so powerful, it could keep you alive for months without spoiling. Dried meat, fat, and berries pressed into cakes. Pemmican fueled hunters, explorers, and even Arctic expeditions. Today's protein bars and trail mixes still echo this native invention. While pemmican was a food of endurance, our next dish was born from tragedy. 3. Navajo fry bread. A dish created in tragedy became a symbol of resilience. During the long walk, Navajo families were given only flour and lard. From hardship came fry bread, crispy, filling, and now central to native gatherings. It carries both pride and painful memory. From survival foods to comfort foods, some native dishes blended so seamlessly into American life, we hardly notice their roots. 4. Succotash. You've probably eaten it, but did you know it's native? Corn and beans, sometimes squash, succotash fed native communities long before it became a Southern comfort classic. And corn wasn't just eaten whole, it was transformed into something far more essential. 5. Hominy and grits. That warm bowl of grits? It started in native kitchens. By treating corn with ash or lye, natives unlocked hidden nutrition. This process, nixtamalization, gave us hominy and later, grits. Without it, corn diets caused disease. With it, the South gained an icon. If corn defined the South, another grain defined the North. 6. Wild rice harvest dishes. For the Ojibwe and Dakota, wild rice wasn't just food, it was sacred. Hand-harvested from lakes in canoes, wild rice was dried, pounded, and cooked into nourishing stews. Today, it's seen as gourmet, but its native origins go back centuries. From the quiet lakes of the North, let's move to the roaring rivers of the Northwest. 7. Salmon roasts of the Pacific Northwest. Picture entire villages gathered around a fire, with salmon roasting on cedar stakes. For coastal tribes, salmon was identity, sustenance, and ceremony. These feasts shaped both community and cuisine, though modern industry now threatens the salmon runs that sustain them. While salmon brought people together, another food came from the forests and required careful transformation. 8. Acorn bread and stew. Imagine turning bitter, inedible acorns into nourishing bread. California tribes leached tannins from acorns, grinding them into flour for stews and breads. What settlers dismissed as famine food was actually sustainable and ingenious. From the forests of California, we move to the open plains, where another staple dominated life. 9. Bison roasts and jerky. Before beef, there was bison. Plains tribes depended on the bison for food, tools, and shelter. Jerky and roasts weren't just meals, they were survival itself. Later, settlers copied the jerky tradition. From something as heavy as bison, native kitchens also brought sweetness. 10. Maple sugar treats. Long before candy shops, America had maple sugar. Tribes boiled maple sap, creating molded sugar treats, the first American candy. Colonists quickly adopted it, changing how Americans thought about sweetness. And with corn and sugar shaping daily life, bread was never far behind. 11. Cornbread origins. Cornbread didn't start in Southern kitchens, it started in native hearths. Cornmeal cakes baked on stones or in ashes became the blueprint for the beloved cornbread of the South. But native foods weren't only about staples, they also celebrated the fruits of the land. 12. Chokecherry puddings. A fruit so tart it puckers your mouth, yet it fed generations. Chokecherries were pounded, sometimes mixed with fat or meat, to create puddings and cakes. Both survival food and ceremonial dish, they remain a quiet native tradition. Some foods tied directly to the seasons, especially the arrival of new corn. 13. Green corn ceremonial soups. Every summer, renewal was celebrated with green corn. The Green Corn Festival marked forgiveness, new beginnings, and fresh harvests. Corn soup wasn't just sustenance, It was symbolic of life renewed. If corn marked renewal, venison marked survival on the frontier. Venison stews. Before beef stew, there was venison cooked in earth ovens. Deer meat was slow-baked underground with herbs and roots. It became a model for early American stews, but its native origins faded from memory. And finally, we return to corn, this time, in a color unlike any other. 15. Blue corn pancakes. Breakfast with a flash of color. The Hopi crafted blue cornmeal into pancakes and tortillas, rich in nutrition and spiritual symbolism. The vivid blue represented life itself to the Hopi. From blue corn to wild rice, from salmon to maple sugar, every dish tells a story. These 15 dishes aren't just forgotten recipes. They are pieces of America's story, moments of survival, resilience, celebration, and deep connection to the land. Some live on quietly in the foods we eat today. Others remain only in memory. But together, they remind us that American cuisine didn't begin in diners or barbecue pits. It began with native traditions, with resourceful families who learned how to turn the land itself into nourishment. If you enjoyed this journey into the forgotten foods of America, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The World Tapestry, where we uncover the hidden pieces of our shared history, one story at a time.